There is a 72% number floating around the dark corners of the financial internet right now that nobody is talking about. But it might be the single most important number for your bank account in the next 12 months. It's not interest rates. It's not inflation. It's the betting market odds that Hakeem Jeffries is about to become the next Speaker of the House. And with him, a legislative package that could fundamentally delete the profit margins of real estate investors across America. We're talking about the end of the 1031 exchange as we know it, a tax on money you haven't even made yet, and a literal ban on who can buy a home. Jeffries says the Democrats are in the red zone to take back the majority. The DCCC is crushing fundraising records, and if the betting markets are right, we are looking at a financial regime shift that we haven't seen since 1986. So today, we are going to break down exactly what the Jeffries Pivot means for your money, the 3 specific laws that are sitting in the chamber ready to fire, and, most importantly, how you can Jeffries-proof your portfolio before the gavel drops. Let's start with the core fear. Number 1, the death of the 1031 exchange. For decades, the 1031 exchange has been the cheat code of real estate. You sell a property, buy a bigger one, and defer the taxes. It's how mom and pop investors build wealth. But the Biden 2025 budget, which Speaker Jeffries would be tasked with passing, calls this a loophole. Their plan? Cap the deferral at $500,000. Now, you might think, I don't have $500,000 in gains, I'm safe. Wrong. If you've owned a rental property for 10 or 20 years, inflation alone has probably pushed your gain over that limit. If this passes, you are hit with an immediate tax bill that could wipe out 40% of your equity. And here is the kicker. A study by Ernst & Young found that repealing 1031s wouldn't just hurt investors. It would shrink the US GDP by $8.1 billion and, get this, actually increase rents by 8 to 13%. Why? Because if landlords have to pay more taxes, guess who foots the bill? You do. The tenant. It's the lock-in effect. Nobody sells, supply dries up, and prices skyrocket. But the 1031 cap is just the appetizer. The main course is a bill with a name so catchy, it sounds fake. The End Hedge Fund Control of American Homes Act. This bill, supported by the progressive wing that Jeffries needs to please, would literally ban institutional investors from owning single-family homes. It defines a hedge fund broadly enough to catch almost any large pool of capital. And the penalty? They have to sell 10% of their homes every year for 10 years. If they don't, a $20,000 tax penalty per home. Imagine dumping 57,000 homes per year onto the market in Atlanta or Phoenix. It sounds great for buyers, until you realize it would obliterate the equity of every middle-class homeowner in those neighborhoods. It's a forced fire sale legislated by Congress. And we know what happens because they tried this in Rotterdam. A study showed that when they banned investors, rents actually went up and the neighborhood gentrified faster. Why? Because investors sold the homes to rich owner-occupiers, displacing the lower-income renters. It's the classic case of a policy that sounds good on Twitter, but fails in economics class. Finally, we have the billionaire minimum tax, a 25% tax on total income, including unrealized capital gains. This means if your property goes up in value on Zillow, you owe the IRS cash, even if you haven't sold it. It's a liquidity nightmare. It forces you to sell assets just to pay the tax on the growth of those assets. Combine that with doubling the capital gains rate to 44.6%, and the government becomes a nearly 50% partner in your success, but a 0% partner in your risk. So, what do? Panic? No. You pivot. First, if you are sitting on a massive gain, 2024 might be the year to pull the trigger on that 1031 exchange, while the rules are still written in ink, not pencil. Second, Look at multifamily. The hedge fund ban targets single-family homes. Apartments are generally considered good density by the same politicians trying to ban corporate landlords. And finally, watch the Senate. The House can pass whatever it wants, but if the Senate stays red, it's a firewall. The Jeffries scenario is real, but gridlock is your friend. If you want to track these odds in real time, I've linked the Polymarket data below. Hit the like button if you want me to keep tracking this bill, and I'll see you in the next one.